Well, hello everyone.
Hello.
Yeah, Stephen, Marcel, Shinji. We have some new participants today, so welcome. Once in a while, we have a couple people dropping in. Uh-oh, it looks like we lost one person. We lost Marcel. All right, it's reconnecting.
I'm just dropping in as a drive-by to see how things are going.
Sure. Maybe let's give Marcel just one moment here. And Stephen, yes, always welcome to just drop in and listen. So. I believe Marcel is just trying to get audio working here.
It's the story of our age.
It is. Uh-oh. Well, let's tell you what. Let's give him maybe 10 more seconds, and then we can dive in a bit here. All right, maybe let's get started. Typically, what we've done here is just do a quick intro, just so we can say hi to each other. I always welcome if you just want to, just be on and listen in. That's always welcome too. So no pressure as well. But I can get started. I'll say, I'm Nathan Kumagai. I work for Qualcomm. Been part of the community since probably 2015, 2016. But serving right now as the education chair for this next year here, and I've always been excited about this part of the work, just because it's like to me, it was always the most challenging thing. Is we work in this niche area of law and process and engineering, and it's always sometimes it's hard to explain to people in the elevator, which you do. But I think being able to convey this, effectively is kind of what I think is going to help, this community grow to new places. And so I feel like this is very important work we're doing here. So let's see. Anyone else like to jump in? Just introduce yourself briefly.
I can go next.
Okay, Steve.
I joined a bit earlier. So I'm Steve Gilbane. I work for Analog Devices. I'm based in Edinburgh. I lurk on most of the open chain calls that are happening either in the US or in Europe. I tend to skip the Asia ones on account of being asleep at the time. And mainly I'm just checking in to see what's happening in the education group because I haven't followed the work too closely.
Sure. Well, thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Steve. I'm sorry. I think you go by Steve.
I'm happy with either. I don't mind.
Okay.
I'll go next since it's kind of logical. My name is Josh Clements. I work for Steve at ADI, and this is my first official open source position. I work in the open source program office, but I've been loving open source for I don't know over 10 years now. So I'm just kind of getting plugged in and finding out what OpenChain's all about. I love what I see so far, and I'm happy to learn more.
Well, welcome, Josh. Thank you for joining.
Thanks.
Good morning. This is Prasad from Cisco.
Hey, Prasad. Thank you for joining as well. You were a little bit quiet on the mic, but I think I was able to hear you a little
bit. Yeah, I'm actually talking through my headset right now. But yeah.
Okay. Well, welcome here. Thank you for joining. So.
Hi, I can go next. This is Mary Matron. I've participated in this work group on and off for a while. I work for Continental Automotive, and one of the things that I do is helping to develop or select, open source training for software engineers in my company.
So, Mary, welcome back. Thank you. It's good to have you back.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is Prasad again. My apologies. I didn't realize that it was the intro round, but I just wanted to let you all know I lead the Cisco's third-party use and distribution policy, and also lead our internal open source program. And I'll be part of Linux Foundation OpenChain project for the past 2 years. And I'm also participating in some of the work groups, such as this, as well as some other technical work that Cisco represents as well.
Okay. Well, yes, thank you, Prasad, for that. Okay. Yeah, so we can move on if no one else wants to jump in. As always, you're very welcome just to come listen in, and so no pressure. If you want to, add a comment, you can always jump in verbally or write something in. Everything is welcome. So, just for a bit of background, just for those who are new to the group, I think what we're trying to do is basically work through the most important items that are part of the OpenChain resources. And so these are the things that you might find on the website that help convey the purpose and what OpenChain does, answer the most common questions, help people understand what they need to do or what OpenChain is. Help people kind of through the process. And I think we've talked about it. I know, Mary, you were here when we talked about the path to conformance being useful, that sometimes people are arriving just to learn about open source compliance. And sometimes people, have already reached that step, but they're here to find out about OpenChain and what OpenChain can do. Or they're moving to the place where they're trying to implement it and they're kind of deep in the weeds and perhaps working within their company to gain support for making changes in their processes to become OpenChain conformant. And so we need resources and options for people at all those places along the way, because each of these are important steps to reaching that final goal of having a new organization conform to the standard. So we want to smooth the path, make sure there's no difficulties for people to get to the end goal. And hopefully at the end as well, they'll join our community along the way and help us out. I know, I will say this, like one of my colleagues just earlier this week got a project. They needed to, provide some resources to a third party to help, get them on board with the open source needs that we had. There's always some sensitivity in large companies about sharing things that are developed internally. Perhaps you might have to sort through it and filter through it to make sure you're not revealing, company confidential information. But in that case, I was able to point them to OpenChain resource and say, hey, here's some, neutrally created or community created resources. You can provide these to the third party. It'll help create some common language and understanding that you can begin your work from. And having those things, greatly reduces the overall work that, the champions that we have in our, in our community who are, selling OpenChain or promoting OpenChain within their organizations. We want to make their jobs as easy as we can. So we're, going to try to start meeting bi-monthly or twice a month, and taking feedback on not only what is most important, what are the most important resources to you in your experience, but also we'd like feedback on what those resources say. So the last meeting we went through most of the FAQ, and I'd like to, I think we're nearly through that. It would be nice if we could just finish that up and get that posted to the website. But I also like to take feedback as well, more globally, especially since we have some new folks on what's been helpful to you. So I'll share a couple links as we go along. I'll start with this one here. This is the education group priorities. And I'm just starting some rough notes here using Google Docs to, organize, just put some here. Let me share this first here. Let's see. Bear with me. Okay, here's the first link. And this is the kind of priorities document. It's you know, a little rough, but I think it's just basically a list of, I think, the initial documents that seem most important to people. So please, you know, I invite you to take a look at those and see if there's any documents that you would like us to work on this team, or if you have feedback about, hey, this document is particularly important to us, or maybe even there's a document that's missing. There's something we'd like to see that would really help our organization, and that will help direct the priorities of this work group. So everything here is community driven, of course. And I will post a second link here to the FAQ document. And this should be, when you open this, you should have access to be able to make edits or post comments as well. So, and how about could I start with this? Why don't I take a quick poll? Is there anyone who'd like to give feedback on the first document? Perhaps to say, you know, hey, there's some, you know, documents here. There's some resources of OpenChain that are more important to me, or perhaps less important, or there's something we'd like to see done.
Hey, Nathan,
Yeah.
this is Prasad. I think one aspect that I just kind of, maybe this is just because fast, I think a couple of weeks ago, was just playing around with ChatGPT, and you probably saw my email. So I was trying several things there, right? I think one thing was interesting to note was it was able to recognize the SPDX as a standard. In general, it recognizes all different SBOM standards. Like this program generally question about, you know, give me all these BOM standards out there. And it's not basically going one after another. Obviously, the SPDX came in the first. And then I asked it a question around ISO 5230, right? 2020, our OpenChain standard. And for some reason, I think I was unable to recognize it, which I was quite surprised, because I think the actual standard went public and achieved ISO certification back in late 2020. I think it was December or January of 2021, December 2020. So ideally, the cutoff should have still, you know, captured some information. So I'm kind of curious that, you know, this documentation that you are working on, is there a way to kind of, you know, feed this or somewhere share this in a public space that automatically gets picked up by these AI models, right? And essentially that becomes also a way to distribute and bring more awareness, right? That's my thought around that.
Yeah, you know, what it makes me wonder a little bit is our material in a way, or presented in a way that's searchable, right?
Yeah,
you know, by Google or others, right? Is it? Let me take a note on that here. I think let me ask Shane about that one.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think even Shane, I mean, both Shane and me, I think we do have one concern, obviously, is that some of the other standards, when I go and ask it, right, I think the response sometimes is too verbose. So that could be, again, something that we need to weigh in on and see that, okay, it doesn't give too much information that people just phase out. But at the same time, if we can control the feed and the frequency of the updates, because sometimes, you know, if it just going to capture the very stale data and then our standards are evolved, then it will be a problem as well. So I think how frequently we update the information that is publicly available, plus the level of detail that we can provide, right? I think those aspects, I think, we can do something there. Because, I mean, ChatGPT is getting like mega hits, right? I think, you know, there's a lot of adoption there. So people can suddenly pose these questions. That becomes a tool to kind of bring awareness.
Okay. All right. No, thank you for that. I'll take a note here, and then I think next time I talk to Shane, if that's okay, I'll check in with him and see where he's gotten as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think I've copied him as well on that thread, so definitely he's aware of that. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Sounds good. So yes, thank you for that. And just FYI, yeah, here's the list of documents. At least I pulled out. I think these are the short list of the most polished, documents that the community's created so far. One of the goals we've had for these, of course, is not only polish and quality, but brevity as well, because most of these are translated to other languages as well. And so by keeping things, in as short a language as we can, that will help our community volunteers translate as well. But as far as big picture goes, Shane has asked us to take a look at the FAQ. I think we've started there. I think Mary and some others have suggested the path to conformance is probably a good place to work on next, or an important place at least to work on. But if you have any votes for any of these others, maybe drop a comment into this document, or let me know if some others seem important to you that we should get into. Obviously there are thousands of documents in the resources, and so part of this is just coming from my pass through of the website and the resources document to kind of see what seemed like the most core and important resources that we have.
So a while ago there was an effort on the playbooks, and the medium-sized and small company ones got updated and published.
Okay.
Is that part of this group, or is that in the main OpenChain thing? Because I did take a crack at the large size playbook as well, and I don't know where that got to.
Okay, Steve, very good point. As a tutor, let me hunt on the links for the playbooks here, and yeah, we can start to pull those forward as well.
I see in the reference material repo that the small and medium-sized ones are there. The draft for the large one was a Google Doc originally, and I don't know what happened to it. It may have just disappeared or got left behind.
Okay. Yeah, no, sounds good. I'll take some time offline then. I'll hunt on the links here. Yeah, so very good.
I wasn't sure whether it was part of this group remit or not.
Yeah. I think anything that needs some attention in terms of our resources is fair game, and yeah. So I think there will be some some things like the spec, of course. They have their own group particularly for that, but I think this is a place, if anyone in the community thinks something needs some attention or there's a special need, we can go for it here. And if you see other things that are generally needed, this can be a communication point for Shane and the Linux Foundation folks who are helping staff, the project, website or other, artistic, work that's going on as well. So, if we see something that we can't necessarily work on ourselves, but we have something in our wish list, we can put that here as well. And we'll communicate that to Shane as part of our work group. All right, so yeah, thank you, Steve, for that that note there on the playbooks as well. Okay, so if there's nothing else on this, I'll move us over to the FAQs. And so just a quick note to catch people up. In the last group, we spent most of the time working through, each question, just kind of dropping in comments about, hey, is this current? Is this need some improvement? Or is this question going in the wrong direction? I think we got through about 2/3 of the document. And, since that time, I've went through and closed out most of the changes that we had made to this document. So I would invite you to, take a look through. Particularly, I think what I highlighted here, this is a new question that we thought we needed. So I drafted some language here based on the input given from the members in the last meeting. So welcome any discussion or or feedback there. But going down, we've modified a couple of questions here. We split up the participation versus governance questions. And then, there are some kind of small corrections here. We had to update this link, by the way, because it previously resolved to a dead link. And I think two kind of large areas remained. Number one is one we'd like to take to the. I will be visiting whenever there's a appropriate time at the security group. I think we have a list of questions that are very focused on the OpenChain compliance standard, and it starts right here. But we need an equivalent amount of questions for the security standard. So, I've highlighted these here. I copied them over. And one of them I was able to update, but I think some of these will take some thought from more of the security-oriented folks that are part of our community. Now, clearly, some of these questions are focused on like legal guidance. Like these are focused on kind of license compliance, and so we'll have to modify the question a bit. But I think that's one area of work that's still needed on the FAQ. And then the last part we hadn't reached was the self-certification FAQ. So if I can suggest, is this an okay place to start if we at least finish out, the look at this and get feedback from everyone?
Sure, why not?
Okay. And I think if we get this done, we can publish most of this, and then, except for perhaps the security questions, we can take those as a separate module. And I think it's always nice to try to get something done. I'd love to at least give at a minimum one document out and updated in every month we meet here. Okay, so the self-certification FAQ. I think taking the intro still seems relevant, and I think someone has already gone through and included both the security and the license compliance specification. Sorry about the jump there.
Nathan, I think there's a typo where focus is underlined in red.
Yeah.
It looks right on my screen. The approach is less more, and focuses on what I.
Okay, sharp eyes. Thank you for that. Yeah. This is more in.
And while you're in that sentence, I think what and why, how and when should be highlighted, those 4 particular words, because it emphasizes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you suggest
italics?
Or
I don't know. I think if you make the what, why, how, when, they should be italic each. I think.
What and why? All right. Yes, I like that. Let's see. And by the way, this point. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, please.
I don't know why practical is underlined. Oh, it's suggesting. Is that Grammarly?
It's Grammarly. I have installed, so
okay,
I guess it doesn't like it for some reason. The practical. That's what Grammarly wants.
Yeah, I would ignore. Dismiss.
Okay. All right, we're gonna dismiss that one.
Others have a different opinion.
Okay. Yes. Stop bugging us, Grammarly. All right. But by the way, this point, there was a question earlier in the FAQ. The last group wanted us to emphasize that, and so we have a special question that we drafted early on, and I can run back to that one. That's the one basically newly drafted. It's about, what's the intention and approach of the community, and I think a lot of our discussions around the spec kind of come back to this point here, is we really need to focus on process, what we do, what decisions we make, rather than, how you make that decision, or what, making that decision for you. Okay, so I think this question, to me, this looks okay.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so this would be a sticky issue, but if you disagree with the submission by another org.
What kind of a submission? Is this for self-certification?
Yeah, I think this must have arisen from a question about, we're publishing the list of those who would like to be published, at least of, so organizations that are declaring they're conformant. And I think at some point someone wanted some mechanism where we could say, if there was a complaint from the community about the practices of someone in here, because we're not policing conformance, right? But
Yeah.
there should be some sort of mechanism where the community can take feedback from those, from people in the community. If, say, a developer or open source project feels like, hey, a company isn't using our material correctly, right? And they're not getting answers from the company. They wanted some sort of way to be able to talk to the community.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
just to add to that, right? I think that there are some agencies in terms of organizations out there, like for example, software consultancy project, right? slconsultancy.org. They essentially do this type of external requests, audits on several companies, both large and small, and in some cases, obviously, they're depending on the nature of third-party software companies and the associated license constraints. The organizations are expected to comply and provide them the necessary dependencies, but in some cases, some organizations they didn't respond, or they didn't respond on time, or they should information that I think the organizations like sometimes here, right?
Yeah.
Is that a fair understanding?
I think so. And Prasad, I think I missed a little bit of the end of what you're saying, but I think I caught the drift that you're saying. Like, there's organizations like SFC that we could get requests from like this, right? And they're helpful for, like, increasing the voice of the community, or
They can essentially call it out, right? Call it out.
Yeah, they
organization X did do this kind of. Yeah.
But I think we on our own, we want to make sure we have, integrity for what we're doing. And so we have a list of platinum members, conformant organizations, right? And if, perhaps there's an organization that's getting a number of complaints around them, right? And they're not responding to them. As a community, we may need to, deal with, say, this list, for instance, right? In some sort of way. The question I had, though, is this link resolves to here. And let's say I was SFC. I'm not sure I would know from this link who to talk to. It doesn't seem like a natural landing place for that. I think this was supposed to be a contact us kind of link at some point. Does anyone have any suggestions of what we could put in here? Other than, I guess we could put Shane's email address. We have the work groups. We have the Slack group here and the mailing list. Because we could direct people to. Sorry, go ahead, Mary.
We don't have a general info@openchainproject.org or something?
Yeah. How about this? Could I take a bit of homework here? Let me talk to Shane and find out, what is, we need a better public contact point, right? Do you
Yeah,
feel that would
there is a
resolve the
page.
issue?
It's okay. There's a page, openchainproject.org/resources/FAQ, and there's a link there that says contact us about anything, and it brings up an email, helpdesk@list.openchainproject.org.
Okay.
So if we put that resources/FAQ link,
Yeah.
can I try to put this in the chat?
Contact us.
Let's see.
I think I got it here. Copy.
Okay.
Actually, Mary, I think this same, like we're actually working on this FAQ page itself.
Yeah.
It'll be,
Okay.
let's see here. So we should address this though, like using our standards. Okay. Please contact us at the mail address below with any related questions. Does that sound good? Or something like that? I'm 100% sure someone would have a better way of saying that, but let's see.
Well, this one is specifically about submissions. So if
Okay.
somebody makes please contact us below with the details, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Do we want to clarify submission? Like say what if I don't agree with a self-certification submission made by another organization?
Yeah.
That's what I was going to suggest as well, because I was confused when I saw submission at first.
Oh, okay. There. Sorry, let me just make sure. Did you say self-certification?
Yeah.
Whether self-certification submission or just like?
Yeah, submission.
Okay.
You just put in a qualifier what kind of submission.
Got it. Okay.
And it should be in the question too, yeah.
Is there any concern you have? Is that?
No, that's fine.
Or should I say about the? Are you saying if? Okay. Okay. Yeah. And Grammarly again. Should we dismiss that, or what do you think?
I don't care. I don't care.
Okay.
But I think to Steve's point, we also want to say put self-certification in front of submission in the question itself.
Oh, okay. So certification. All right. Yeah. And so I know these are small changes, but I think this tremendously helps it. So thank you. Okay. I'm assuming this is still true.
Probably
although I think we have not encountered one directly yet is better than we did not encounter one yet.
Okay. We have not encountered one?
Encountered, yeah.
Yeah, encountered one directly. Okay.
So this email address, do we know where it goes? Does it just like post something out on the mailing list or what?
You know what? I don't know actually. How about why don't I check with Shane on that? Okay.
Yeah, good idea.
Checklist. Shane. Okay, there we go. I have some homework there. Okay, thumbs up all around?
Yep.
Should we? Okay.
Yep.
All right, how do I get started? You can use our. Okay, so this is going to the GitHub site. Perhaps let's open that and make sure that's current. Okay, so this is one that's updated 3 months ago. This should be the latest one, I believe. Although this is
So sending people to GitHub, is this the best way to do this?
yeah.
Does anybody else have a concern about that?
I think I agree with you. It's not doesn't look like a very polished way to look at this, does it?
The questionnaire, I seem to recall it was supposed to be converted to, rather than being questions, to be checkboxes.
Okay.
And that doesn't look like it is, so presumably that's not the most recent link.
Okay.
Oh, no, wait, there's a questionnaire and there's a checklist, so that's two different things. That makes sense.
Okay. So first we have their page format and GitHub. Sorry, I'm learning to type. Okay. And then let's briefly open up this checklist to see if that's what you're referring to here. So again, this goes back to GitHub.
There you go, checkboxes.
Checkboxes.
Yep. And the phrasing for each one is now a statement rather than a question. So that's what I expected to see.
Is there like a real difference between the two documents?
No, it's exactly the same content. It's just whether it's here's a question you should go away and answer versus here is a statement and you could check it to say yes, it's true.
Yeah. I sort of feel like I'm not sure why we would need both. I feel like the checklist might be sufficient, but like perhaps like one better landing page for with the checklist, to me would be preferable. But any opinions there?
Well, certainly you could remove the questionnaire link and just mention the checklist here.
Okay. Does anyone else agree with that? I think I like that idea. But
I guess I don't care how it's worded. But yeah, we did do a self-certification in December, and I found that just having that was not adequate for our purposes because I wanted a spreadsheet. I wanted it in a spreadsheet so I could add columns to say, like, here's what evidence we looked at, here's what we need to fix. And if you get a PDF with checkboxes, you can't do that.
yeah.
So I ended up copying, pasting it into a spreadsheet so that I could use it
Okay.
like that. So that, I think I raised that issue to Shane already.
You know, Mary, I think I remember you saying that too.
Yeah. And you know, you can make this spreadsheet look fancy and pretty and stuff.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to suggest let's remove this. You know, let's checklist. And then I'm going to say, like, let's look into, I think that sounds great. Like having, I suppose, do you have is there a format anyone would suggest for the spreadsheet? You know, I mean, I think the community shied away from just using a like Excel document, but maybe we can discuss that as well.
Yeah, one of the reasons for switching everything to Markdown is it's easier to make online edits that are tracked. But I don't know, maybe we could also reformat it so we have something where we can generate different preferred formats, because by having simply having a questionnaire and a checklist, we've now got a maintenance issue of trying to keep the two in sync, albeit slightly different.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll make a note here to Shane that we removed the questionnaire. Okay. No longer need to keep in sync, right? Maybe that's I think reducing the amount of content we have to keep in sync is probably best as well, right? Yeah. Excuse me. Okay, so once you complete the process,
Please let me know who is me. What's me's name?
yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's you know, it seemed like is there 2 steps here we're actually talking about? Is there one where you do, at least for my org too, Mary, like we had a process where we had just met and talked about it and evaluated where we're at, and then it was kind of a separate step to decide to submit to the community.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So self-certification. I guess instead of how does this get started, this is like, how do I self-certify, right?
Right.
I will say this is actually focused on the license compliance spec, right? Maybe we need a security one as well, right? Is there a security checklist?
There is. I mean, I'm looking at the pages right now on the Get Certified page, and there's several links. One for the license compliance checklist, and there's one for the security checklist and questionnaires in each case.
Okay.
But I was thinking more in terms of the questions you were looking at. Was that a license compliance question, or was it a generic question which happens to be still focused on license compliance?
I think the intent. Yeah, this is supposed to be generic. This section is supposed to address both of them. So I think we do need to add in the links here. You know, would you mind dropping in the chat window if you have that handy?
I was just starting to do that.
Ah, awesome. Okay. Great minds then.
One. And there's 2.
Okay. Okay, so I see a checklist and a questionnaire, and perhaps
both for security.
Okay. Should we take the same approach? Should we just say we'll use the questionnaire for now?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, and then Mary, I'll include the same kind of question. Let's see, because I think the feedback for the format is important here too.
Yeah, there is below the links on the certified page. There is a report your adoption button or link, and that is actually a mail to link to helpdesk@listsopenchain.org.
Is it okay?
With a chunky subject line embedded into the link. So that's
Okay.
probably what the me is referring to earlier.
Yeah. Well, notice this one. This is the, they say have you self-certified and it goes to the operations at OpenChain.
Excellent. Inconsistencies.
Yeah. So let's, okay. That'll be some more homework here, right? Which one is that? The other thing I thought I would do is like put the direct link here. Because I think you gave me that for the security spec. So we can put the direct link in here. At least that'll, for now, improve the GitHub kind of experience. You're just clicking directly into a link instead of choosing a file. Okay,
Yeah.
so we have the security checklist, and then maybe for the who to let know. I think the open chain project now. I think that sounds better if that's okay with you.
Mhm.
And then we need to find out, okay, what's the best contact point? I think it's not this about page again. I think that's old. So I'm gonna kill that there. Okay. Any feedback on this paragraph here?
Yeah, I don't like this stuff in parentheses. Like, I like the idea of it, but I don't like it in parentheses.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just maybe take it out, like say, this is not mandatory, but it provides an advantage to you because more of your peers know blah, 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 period. It also provides,
Period. Okay.
yeah. Then-
Yeah. It also advantage to the open chain community.
like that.
Okay. You know, I didn't do this for my org, but like I think, was there anything about submitting like a trademark, or was there anything about? I wonder if there was a more formalized point than just an email now. Right, because you have to submit like a, your company logo, so for them to post it to the site. So is there a better landing spot, right? For
Yeah.
for this notice. EG TM guy didn't want that. Trademark guidelines. Is that all right? So let me take that point as some homework as well. And I think this is fine. So I'm going to unhighlight that. All right. So now that we say, by the way, we have a
We
Should
have
we
an
just-
app. Here's a link to it, but don't use it.
what do you think? Should we drop this language?
I would maybe just say the legacy self-certification web app has been deprecated.
Okay.
And what to do? follow the guidance above instead.
Okay.
That.
Hey, Nathan, I just got a drop. Just one thought I just came across is that this do we have like one question on the frequency of this recertification? Because I know the last time we checked, I think it was supposed to be every 2 years or every 2 years. I believe this every 2 years. Kind of curious, do we have that covered?
Yeah, that's a great question. Like,
Isn't it every 18 months? Every year and a
I
half?
believe, yeah. So when I did it like back in last year, because we did it once in 2020 initially, and then after the ISO certification, we did it again last year. So every 2 years we end up doing. But again, organizations have their own challenges to do it in terms of the big policy level change. So I think we need to go and do that certification process to get an effort to do that. But I think it's good to call that out. Right? I think organizations can plan for it.
Well, should we phrase it like, how do organizations keep their certification current?
Yeah, exactly. And again, in terms of the frequency, I think I leave it up to us in terms of the discussion about the top chain and 18 months is a reasonable time, or 2 years is much more.
I think the standard itself says 18 months.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's good. That's, I think 18 months is perfect. Yeah.
All right, let me just take some notes here. Standard states 18 months.
Yep.
So
that way at least they can plan on the effort and yeah.
So, and then maybe I'll just put a quick note on the process for recertifying, right?
Oh yeah.
Or just clarify it's the same process above, right? We should see if this maybe it's here. Let me check this page.
Yeah, they did specifically mention I think about recertification, but I think
my apologies, Prasad. I'm actually not able to hear you. The last thing.
Oh no. What I meant to say is the page shows only instructions on how to get certified, but it doesn't talk much anything about the recertification. Yeah, the frequency of recertification. I don't see that. Yeah.
Okay, so if we'll add this question. Does that address? Yeah, I think that should address it. And then was just wanted to take a quick look at this page. I think this is outdated. This link may be outdated here, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Because when you click there, it is going to 404, right? Yeah.
Maybe yeah.
It's supposed to be fixed.
Let's see if this is. All right, so I got a questionnaire downloaded there, but that's not. That looks like a new one as well. Yeah, and this is the Magic 404 page. Okay. I'll take that as homework as well. Okay. Check for current.
Okay. All right. I got to drop off. Thanks.
Yep.
This is really helpful. Appreciate it. And yeah, once it is done, this you can share the link. I think that'll be great.
Absolutely. Oh, and I can. It should be in the chat window. I'm not sure if it. I'll reshare it right here in the chat window, and then I can.
Perfect.
Oh,
yep.
You know what? Sorry, that didn't work. Let me do that. FAQ, just bear with me for seconds here. I think I got it. Okay. All right, that's the FAQ link right there, and then I'll send a mail out to the mail list as well. Okay. So thank you.
I have that now. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mary.
Yeah. All right, so if I'll just use the last minute here, we'll just attack these last couple of questions, and then I think we can close up for the day. Yeah, I'll find out about what our capabilities are for unsubmitting. I need to check with Shane on this question, I think. And then the web app is, yeah, probably same issue here. So I'll find out about the status of the web app. And really, I guess this is it too. So
Yeah, so that about link again,
mhm.
we have to check into that
Yep,
at the
Okay.
bottom.
yep, old link here. I think this one I should promote this question up here to perhaps right after how you self-certify, right? And then does that look like the right spot for that?
Yeah, seems fine.
Okay. How do you keep it current? Okay. All right.
But-
Well, sorry, go ahead.
If I use the web app, how can I change? Okay, so the web app has been deprecated, right?
I think so. So I think these are going to be,
It has, yes. There's a comment elsewhere saying, by the way, we have one, but it's deprecated.
yeah. Oh,
Okay.
that's this right here.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. So actually we can just remove these all then, right?
Yeah, I think that's probably best to keep it cleaner and simpler.
Yep. So, okay. I'm going to grade those out. We'll get rid of those then. Okay. Well, thank you all. I think this has been a very productive meeting. I think we're actually pretty close. If I'll get these changes together, we'll send out an email, and then I think we could maybe after just one more round, we could publish this. So,
Nice.
yeah, if this time is working for people, I will maintain this. I'm trying to do a bi-weekly cadence, and I mistakenly put it on the same week as the group work meeting. I'm trying to do every off week. So I'll talk to Shane, and we'll get a longer term schedule set up. But if anyone has different requests for time or anything, just let me know.
The time is great for me.
Okay.
Much better than in the Asian morning.
Yeah.
I have honestly no idea how good a time this is for me. I usually miss these calls for one reason or another, but I'll figure out what later.
Okay. All right. Well, appreciate it. Nice to chat again today, and I hope you all have a good day or evening, depending where you're at. So.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks, Sam.
Yep.
Thanks,
Right.
Thanks,
Yep,
guys.
thank you all.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.